You're not afraid of the dark, are you?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Frankenstein's podcast, where it's all about the monster. We're a creature feature podcast about monsters and why we love them. I'm one of your hosts, Joe Praska, and with me, as always, is
your other host, Khalid Hussein.
What's up, Khalid?
What's up, Joe?
I pointed at you.
You did. How are you doing?
Great. How are you?
Also great. Long day at work, but came back home, put on a TV show, and it left me utterly delighted and in good spirits.
Oh,
So
Khalid, I gotta tell you about the show that you have to check out. It's called Widow's Bay.
I hate you.
Explain to the listeners why you hate me.
Because the show is like made for you, and you told me about it before I ever saw a single frame of it. And for some reason, I'm like the fanatic person that's like preaching to you every week about how good it is and how you should start it, and you just haven't yet.
Khalid spent much of the lead up to this recording telling me about how great the latest Widow's Bay was. That's why he's pissed.
Yeah, I'm pissed at any listeners who haven't gotten on the train yet either. Like, you're gonna want to get on the ground floor of this one, folks.
Yeah.
They're doing some great stuff over there.
It was already your What the Fandom, like I think a week ago or something, right?
Yeah, like if I hadn't like already done it, like it would be my what the fandom like every subsequent week I've seen an episode because like it
Yeah.
just keeps like surprising me and delighting me and like how it tells familiar stories.
Hell yeah. I'll start it. Don't worry.
Freaking better, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna start it and then I'm gonna What the Fandom. I'm gonna say like, oh, I just discovered this show, Khalid.
Yeah, that's fine. If you want to piss me off, as long as you've seen it, that's fine.
All right. All right. Uh Khalid,
Joe,
what's up?
what energy are you on today?
I don't know. Got a question for you.
What's up?
What kind of underwear do you wear in an eclipse?
What kind of underwear do you wear in an eclipse?
Mm-hmm.
Um, Something with a thong, maybe? I don't know. Boxers. I don't what? What is it?
Fruit of the Moon.
Okay. That's not bad. That's not bad. It's not great. It's not
Wh
bad.
Why thong? Why is your mind going to thong?
I don't know. You said what kind of underwear, so I was just thinking of like underwear types and
Mm,
not obviously brands where your head was at. You don't give me much to work with these
no.
prompts.
No, I'm not going to ever. Um, okay. How many kinds of underwear do you know of?
There's there's briefs,
Okay.
thongs,
Yep.
boxers.
Okay.
Uh, do crotchless count differently?
Yeah, sure.
Panties.
Okay. Okay.
Um,
Different kinds of panties.
yeah. Boxer briefs, which is a hybrid.
Hmm.
Uh,
Boy shorts. That's a thing.
boy shorts.
Yeah.
I don't know what that is.
You'll just look it up.
I'm not. I don't want to. I don't want to look it up. I don't want. I don't want to taint my search history.
Hey, Khalid.
What?
Hey, Khalid.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not afraid of the dark, are you?
Nope.
Segue, Khalid. What are we talking about tonight?
Thanks for asking, Joe. Today we're talking about the 2000 sci-fi horror thriller Pitch Black, directed by David Twohy. And I've got a synopsis from your homeboy Khalid, aka me, and it goes a little something like this. After crash landing on a desert planet, survivors of the Hunter Gradsner get picked off one by one. The obvious suspect is the convict that got LASIK surgery to murder better. But once he's absolved, they learn of a much bigger threat. Bloodthirsty space bats. Spoiler alert, this movie is Riddick.
What a monster.
They're creatures of the abstract that live off potential energy.
It's alive!
Very nice. Very nice.
Thank you.
I had a good, I mean, my segue was pretty good, but I feel like I got distracted by the underwear types, but still good synopsis. Good recovery. Got a little background on this one. So according to the writers, the original pitch for this was, quote, travelers visit a planet where multiple suns mean perpetual daylight, and when an eclipse brings darkness, ghosts emerge. That was the original thing, was ghosts, which I think probably would have made it too similar to like Carpenter's Ghosts of Mars. Um,
Oh.
yeah, but then eventually the director, Toohey, is that how you say it, Toohey?
That's how I say it.
I was thinking Twohy. I don't know why, but it's spelled two, like the number two. That makes sense. Twohy.
I've
Anyway,
seen other spellings of that name where it's pronounced Tui, so I thought it was that.
I'm gonna say Toohy. Anyway, Toohy was brought on board, and he'd actually just come off of an attempt at making Alien 3. If we've talked about the lore of Alien 3 in a previous podcast, but there was a bunch of directors that tried it, and it wasn't successful. And so he came on with kind of like an Alien framework a little bit, which I think we can kind of see the impacts of Alien on this film for sure. But
Mm.
it's kind of interesting because he both wanted it to feel distinct from Alien, but also kind of carried over some of his ideas that he had. So I just thought that was kind of interesting because he kind of came with that came coming from directly Alien. Originally, it was called Nightfall, and it was about a female outlaw named Tara Krieg who had tribal tattoos and enhancements from her interstellar tribe of barbarians. And it was changed.
Yeah, that's a lot going on there. I
Yeah.
mean, it's sci-fi, so there's always a lot going on. I also think that making them ghosts would have been too much.
I think the changes were good. I think all of the
Yeah,
changes from those like early drafts, like all of that was smart.
especially if you're talking about like, yeah, if it's an Alien sequel or any kind of sequel, like, yeah, you kind of get like carte blanche to like complicate the world a little bit more and like leave your
Hmm.
like signature. But like when you're talking about introducing a whole new set of characters and a world, I think that this movie, spoiler alert, does a great job of like making what is a big world feel like manageable. You can wrap your head around it.
Yeah. Let's get into it. What are your thoughts?
I mean, I liked it. This is one of the few movies on this pod somehow over 5 years that I've actually seen.
Ha!
So it's been like 10 years since I saw it last. I've also seen the sequel, Chronicles of Riddick. I'm a big Vin Diesel truther, I guess. I do
Truther.
just in that like I think that like the running theory on him just conventionally is that like he's like just a popcorn actor and there's not much there to appreciate. And I just don't think that's true. I think that like there is a like cinematic like charisma that he brings that really sets him apart from a lot of the big muscly action hero leads that we've come up with, you know? I mean, you think about a lot of like his screen partners even in like the Fast and Furious movies and it's like he really does just like stand apart in a very like cool way. And so when you're talking about like the start of his career, which this kind of like hovers around, that's when a lot of people got really excited about him. There was like a lot of potential there. And you know, hey, if you don't want to take my word for it, freaking Spielberg casts this guy based off of like one movie he did.
Yeah. Saving Private Ryan. Yep.
Yeah, it's Saving Private Ryan. Like, so you want to argue with me? You're arguing with Spielberg, for the record. I really think that like, there's like this like magnetism. There's this. He makes interesting choices as an actor, and so knowing that coupled with like the fact that he's also like a big nerd at IRL and he loves like Dungeons and Dragons and he's always trying to like adapt these like crazy like properties and stuff like that. I do think that he got boxed into like a cool guy like mode for a lot of years and you know I don't begrudge him. He's made millions upon millions of dollars like just owning that label, but I do wish that he stuck more with the zany sci-fi or like nerd corner of things because he's like the proto Batista in a lot of ways, you know, like just like a cool guy to both look at and just like watch just like do his thing. And when you put that kind of energy into fantastical worlds, it just it accentuates everything, you know.
Yeah.
So just bringing it back to Pitch Black, I love it. I think that it's just such a like straightforward concept for a movie about like it's that thing that I love about all space genre movies of like anything that would be just pretty bad to happen to you on Earth is like 100 times worse in space. You know what I mean? Like there is nobody coming to save you usually. There is nobody to call to get you out of like a dangerous situation. Like you are as alone as you could be. And then on top of that, like you are in an environment that is hostile to you in so many ways. Like even if like a monster doesn't kill you, tiny meteorites can knock you out of space and you're dead most of the time. Or if you survive, you're on a barren planet like they are, you know? And so it's I think that element is really cool. And then I love the conceit of the movie, which is like this space convict is our best hope at surviving what something much worse. And then really playing with that idea of like, you know, with like Johns, the space marshal,
Yeah.
and how like is Riddick the worst person here, you know? And yeah, it's a lot of ideas swirling around, but like the movie, especially when you like give it the caveat of like this is 2000, so like there's been better looking stuff that has come since then, but like I really do love that era of sci-fi and how like everything kind of just feels like it's playing with like that post-alien landscape, you know. I think that like Firefly and Serenity are like a good comp to this. And then even later on kind of what's that like Game of Thrones style space show that
Expanse.
Expanse. Yeah, even the Expanse kind of does it where like I love when it's like gritty space people, you know? Like
Yeah.
it's laborers, it's workers, you know, and it's not just like this like no disrespect to Star Trek or anything like that, but there is like a polish to that. Like you feel
Hmm.
like a lot of like money goes into that and everybody's kind of like cultured and comfortable. And so like I'm always like a little I have a little bit more of an affinity for like the yeah, we're in space, but we're grimy. You know, that's always like kind
Like
of a
like blue
sorry,
collar space people.
blue collar space people. You know, shout out Yaphet Kotto. Like
Yeah.
that's just a vibe. It's such a cool mood to me, and it just really it works in that like juxtaposition of like blue collar but like advanced technology.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love the movie. It's so fun to watch. I think that Vin Diesel does like a really good job of like the first half of the movie kind of being like a predator amongst them, and then when he finally like enters the fold and you kind of like see what that does to the dynamic and where it pushes people, I think that's super cool. Shout out fucking Keith David, Space
Yeah.
Muslims. We're gonna get into that, but it's a lot of ideas even within like a relatively straightforward story that are just like so cool to see and like what sci-fi looks like at its best to me.
Right.
Yeah. But what about you, Joe? What did you think of the movie?
I loved it too. Like this was great. So like this came out in 2000 and I remember this being kind of like a rotation of movies that I rented a lot from like the video store. So that would have been I was 10, 11 years old. I was watching this like several times during that era and I hadn't seen it since then, really. So like it's
Right.
stuck in my head, but like I was like I wonder how this is going to hold up. Like I have a lot of affinity for it, but I there's like a few cracks in the seams here and there like but it really does hold up. I thought it was way scarier back then. Like it freaked me out, but I'm like, it is. I mean, there are some good scary like tense elements, but there's also just like a lot of fun in
Yeah.
this. Like there's some just like really badass sequences and just like whoa, that was cool like action moments and stuff. Like it's great. Like I mean anything space horror that's trying to do like play in the sandbox, I'm like totally on board for it. So I'm a big fan of that. I like that it does sort of feel like you're saying like this kind of blue collar like space aesthetic vibe. Like it's got that. It's kind of like a blending of like the alien aesthetic with like kind of like a John Carpenter-esque story, I feel like. And
Yeah.
I like that a lot. And I think that I mean, it doesn't quite have as many of like this, like staunchly necessarily anti-capitalist stuff that we might see in some of those other movies. But I don't know if you read some of like the backstory that was like cut out of the movie. Like apparently originally Riddick was written as like this military company ranger who spoke out against enforcing security against workers that he believed were being treated like slaves. And so they like deposed of evidence and sent him into prison as a cover-up. So like some of that was in the DNA to begin with as well, which is kind of
That feels
interesting.
very close to like the plot of Demolition Man.
It totally is, I'm sure. But like that's probably why it wasn't actually there. But that was like some of the original like stuff. I don't even think that it brought that stuff into the sequels. I think they've changed it since, but that was some of the original ideas. But yeah, like I think that like even without any of the backstory, like I think that this movie does a really good job, like the original Alien, really making all of the characters feel kind of different and interesting and unique. Like you said, there's a lot at play here, right? Like
Yeah.
all of them have a thing that's interesting and sets them apart. Like sometimes when you're like following like a band of like people who are getting picked off one by one, it's like a large swath of them feel interchangeable at some point, you know?
Yeah.
And that's true to like maybe a few of them, but like ultimately a lot of them like they all have things, you know?
Yeah.
Like
Absolutely.
even the like the the colonialist British guy. Like he's a caricature, but he's a character too. Like he's very like he's like you know who he is.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
that was a funny character. I think that there's an interesting theme, and this might be like kind of like out and this is very like an obvious element to it, but I think the theme of like sort of like hidden identity to it is played really interestingly given like the physical like text of the movie. Like they're all kind of hiding who they truly are, right? Like you have the Carolyn, the kind of the main protagonist for most of the movie. Like she's hiding the fact that she like wanted to basically dump all of them, right? And like kill them and like save herself, right? She has to kind of come
Yeah.
to terms with that. We have like Riddick, who's sort of like him. He's mostly himself for it, but he's also like in the beginning he's playing up the fear like he like when she first comes to talk to him he's like oh what does blood taste like, right? Like he's trying to be scary even though you kind of know he's the hero a little bit. And then like of course there's Jack, the boy who we find out is actually a girl but thinks that being like thinking he's people think he's a boy that would take him more seriously, right? And then Johns, the bounty hunter, who we all like kind of assume is this space marshal cop guy who's like moralistic at first, turns out to be this like drug addict bounty hunter who's not at all affiliated with like any morals, you know? So they
Yeah.
all have this like hidden identity that's sort of like only revealed rather than when the lights turned on, when the lights are turned off. It's kind of a funny like little juxtaposition, like once things get dark is like when their real identities come out. It's like the only major player who's like truly honest from the get-go is like Keith David and his like little like group of Muslims going to New Mecca. Like, but
Which,
is a great Keith David's amazing. He's so cool in this.
well, okay, I'm glad you brought up the concept of New Mecca and the
Yeah, let's talk about
space
that.
Muslims.
Yeah,
So this movie comes out in 2000.
yeah.
Obviously most of us know what comes the year after this is
Yep.
9/11, And with that, like 20 plus years of just like rampant Islamophobia. Like to this day,
Hmm.
there are things that you can say about Muslims that if you said about just about any other like demographic or like faith-based like group, like it would just read as like out and out bigoted. But like politicians, celebrities, anybody can still say all that. So it's like super fascinating. Like a year before like that really kind of kicks off, you get something like this because like all I could think was like, damn, I cannot imagine a big budget sci-fi movie right now where like a part of the cast would be like Muslims going to something called New Mecca.
Hmm.
Like it's really I feel like they didn't necessarily mean to be so transgressive, but it is, and it's like so eye-opening. I genuinely forgot about like Keith David's character after like 10 years of not seeing this movie because
Hmm.
I don't know, it just didn't like stick. But like watching it this time and just thinking about like the within the context of where we are at now with things, it's so fascinating. What do you think?
It's great. I mean, it's really cool. Like, I mean, like you said, like you really wouldn't see something like this, and it's not even treated as like a really like they're patting themselves on the back doing it. Like it's just sort of like it's just part of
No.
it. Like it's just like they're travelers going to New Mecca, and like and they all like a bunch of them die too. Like again, it's not like a special like look at how progressive we are necessarily even. It's
And
just sort
yeah,
of like a
it's not
thing.
just like some like faux virtue like attributed to
Exactly.
them just
Yes.
because, you know what I mean? Like it really, I think what's like kind of cool about it is that you could pretty much like some replace it with like space Mormons and they're going to
Hmm.
like New Utah or like space Christians and
New
they're going
Utah.
to like New Jerusalem,
Yeah.
Like the concept is like broad enough that you could attribute it to anybody. So it's like to do it for Muslims and it's like, you think about something like the Dune movies, which like pull so heavily from
Yeah.
like Middle East cultures and Islam in like a lot of ways. Like it's really cool to just see a sci-fi movie explicitly be like, no, yeah, we've got Muslims in this. Like Muslims make it to space like anybody else.
It's not allegorical in any way. It's just straight up like in the text.
Yeah, and it's just it's nice to see, you know? I
Yeah.
think the representation works. I don't think that like they try to do anything to like other themselves outside of just having faith. And like really more than anything, it's like Keith Davidson's character stands in contrast with somebody like Riddick who like kind of is like an absence of faith. Like he's
Hmm.
like a very pragmatic and like scary person who like just he's I don't know, it's like the world's scary, I'm gonna be scarier versus like somebody like Keith David who's like God is so beautiful, I cannot wait to spread like his gospel into the stars.
Yeah. And they even have some conversations. I don't know if you got a chance to watch the director's cut. There's like a few small like character moments where they have these conversations that I think like putting those two characters especially kind of head to head was really interesting. Um like there's that part where I think Riddick says, "Where's your God now?" when things like seem pretty bleak, and then when he finally comes back to rescue him from the cave, Keith David's like, "That's my God right there." And like
Yeah.
apparently Keith David like ad-libbed that because he's like that just seems like a good thing to say in that moment, you know? Like,
It's a beautiful sentiment, and it's like again, like you could do this with just about any religion because
yeah,
it's really about just faith more than like a specific teaching,
yeah,
you know. But again, like just I don't know, I might be biased being raised Muslim, but like it's just nice to see some kind. I don't necessarily like put a lot of stock in like capital R representation in
sure.
things, but it there is a slight like oh, it's nice to see like someone like me on screen and not like caricaturized or worse, villainized.
Yeah, it's like, well, it's also just like the idea. I mean, in terms of like just the idea, like you said, of representation, like that they have a place in the future, right?
Yeah,
It's cool
very
to see.
very Star Trek. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
the idea of like it's not just classically beautiful, like non-disabled, non white or only white like people. You
yeah.
know what I mean? It's like creeds of every kind are going to be there in the future, and it's just as important to like show that in the depictions of sci-fi.
Right. And I also kind of appreciate that like none of the sort of like when I mean they definitely get to the part where like I mean like Riddick points out that like once the like or the sun goes out like this little band is gonna like tear ourselves apart or something like that. He has a line like that. And like yeah, they definitely get at each other's throats, but I don't feel like there's ever like specifically like Muslim targeted like insults. It's mainly more just about like combating like the whole concept of faith in general. Like it never gets really specific. Like there's no like outright Islamophobia among the characters. You know what I mean?
Yeah, which is again, it's nice. Like I do think that like they they deploy the faithfulness of the characters in like a really respectful way where like obviously as someone like Riddick is going to like find them naive, that's in line with his character, but
Yeah.
you never feel like the movie is making them naive.
No, totally. Especially when like you got like your Keith David there. Like that's
No, yeah,
just
you don't get somebody as like strong voiced and like just like confident, like or presenting as such a confident character to play a role of somebody that you want to undermine.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I appreciated that a lot. It's a bummer that I mean it's a bummer that he lost like all of his pilgrims.
I think that's just equal opportunity killing by the space bats.
Yeah. They had to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, like they also don't discriminate.
Totally. I heard that there was actually like an effort made on set to like with the Muslim actors, specifically the kids who played the pilgrims, like when they were doing prayers on camera, they had to actually face different directions because in this planet, like the suns were supposedly like geographically different. And so that was kind of like a conversation that they had.
It's a curious thought because like I've thought about it before, you
Hmm.
know, because like the idea is that when you pray, you're praying towards Mecca.
Yeah.
So wherever you are, there your compass points to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
And so in my mind, I'm like, yeah, so I guess you would just be praying towards Earth if you're in space, which
But
is that's a beautiful thought.
yeah.
But beyond that, there's a place called New Mecca now.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So that had to be
So
different. Yeah.
is it like whichever one you're closer to? Like,
Does Earth exist in this future? I don't know. Like, I guess we don't know the lore of that.
I mean, Yeah, that's true. You don't really know what happened to Earth. Maybe that's why there is a new mecha. Like they're like, we got to rebuild and start somewhere else.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, that could be. I mean,
Yeah.
you saw Chronicles of Riddick, right? The second one?
Yeah, but I'll be honest, I don't remember shit about it except for like that one guy whose power is that like he can like kind of like project himself a few seconds into the future, so it's harder to, or not the future, but like he can like basically like half teleport
Yeah.
like a few feet, and so it's hard to stab him.
It's hard to stab him, yeah. I mean, well, so like, so in the second one, in Chronicles of Riddick, so first off, just an aside, like this is another thing about Vin Diesel just being a big nerd and like the director being on board with it too. Like the fact that they take this like lean space horror and just like, what if we just did grandiose space opera next, like is kind of a cool big swing. And I kind of appreciate that. I know that a lot of people didn't love the sequel, but I think it's really interesting. But like Keith David is back in the second one. And so there's some elements where I think we get some more development into that. I don't remember it exactly. It's been a while since I've seen it. He's in a good portion of the second one too, which is kind of cool to see that character come back.
It's
Um,
free to watch on YouTube. I might throw that
yeah,
thing on because
yeah.
I will not lie. Watching Pitch Black, I was like, am I gonna crack Chronicles of Riddick open too? Like,
I felt the
is,
same way. I was like, I just want to jump right into that. And then there's a third one too that's just called Riddick.
isn't it? Is it animated or is it? Oh no,
No,
you're right.
yeah.
They did that
Though
like
there is an animated an animated movie that takes place between Pitch Black and Chronicles of Riddick.
yeah.
And there's Chronicles of Riddick, the second movie, which was released as PG-13, but you can find there's like an unrated R-rated director's cut, which it's better.
Yeah.
And then there's Riddick, just called like Riddick by itself, which is the third film, which sort of follows up the threads from the big space opera second one, but is generally like a more lean, like he's abandoned and left for dead on a planet, and there are monsters again.
I don't know that I've ever seen Riddick.
Number three has Batista in it and Katie Sackhoff. Some genre
Oh,
cred there, yeah. Yeah.
okay, okay.
Yeah.
Dang, I might have to find that one too. Like, I'm sure it probably doesn't hold up to Pitch Black.
Sure.
But I, I'm a fan of the world that they've created here, and
Well,
I wouldn't mind spending 2 to 4 hours in it and
and Vin
just like,
Diesel's fun to watch, right? Like he's doing a lot of fun stuff with this. Like I'm down with that. Like I don't know. I almost feel like it could be a good podcast topic. I don't think like one of them per se, but if we did like a like a Riddick double feature and did two and three together, that could be fun.
might have to. I mean, if there's creatures in both of them, why
Yeah,
not?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, yeah, no, all of that's really interesting. As I was saying earlier too, like I know we zeroed in on kind of Keith David and the Muslim Pilgrims, but like I do feel like all the characters are kind of interesting to some capacity. There was an interesting trivia piece that I read that the Carolyn character played by Radha Mitchell,
Mm.
which I just watched I would just watch Man on Fire. She's the mom in that.
Oh
Also,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, she's in a bunch of stuff. Silent Hill also. So she's a fun actor, but she was supposed to survive and Riddick was supposed to die in the original script, but they actually shifted it because I think it was actually the studio who were like, "Ooh, I think Riddick's more of the interesting character here if we want to do a franchise." And
That's so funny.
the instinct to me is like want to be like, "No, like she's great." But I kind of agree. He's like really interesting. Like Riddick is a great character.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah.
I maybe it's because like we know there are like such Riddick heavy sequels that come
Yeah.
after this. Maybe it's the benefit of hindsight, but like I cannot imagine like seeing Pitch Black and seeing prime young Vin Diesel do his thing in such a like captivating way and being like, one and done.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was a good call. I mean, they did such a good job like making him just so cool. Like even the Jack character who turned the one who turns out to be like a girl, right? They find out like kind of like admiring him and like shaving her head and like wearing the goggles. Like I'm like, I kind of get it. Like he's cool.
I okay, I gotta ask. I Something about the way that they reveal she's a girl. How did you feel about it? It skeeved me out this time.
That was weird. It felt inappropriate.
I don't think that I needed one of Riddick's superpowers to be that he can like smell when someone starts menstruating.
Didn't love that.
That
Yeah.
was that was
Yeah.
upsetting.
I can smell menstruation. It's like a
I
bear.
get it. It's they do a decent job of like
Yeah.
making it plot necessary for it even to because I don't think that like if those space bats, I don't know what they're actually called, I forget.
Bioraptors.
Bioraptors, sure. If the Bioraptors weren't like specifically like targeting blood and stuff like that, I don't think Riddick would be like, "Hey, guess who's menstruating?" I don't think he would. I don't think he would like whip that parlor trick out. But like even still, I'm just like, oh, like if I was there, I'd just like, bro, what the fuck?
Why'd you say that? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it also. I guess I just maybe it's because I've seen it before and like in my mind I just like kind of took it for granted that she's a girl the whole time, but like it
Yeah.
wasn't like the big twist to me. It didn't hit me the same, and so I don't know. It just did it hit you? Like,
No,
did you forget she's a girl when you saw it, or were
no, I
you
actually
like,
remembered that quite. I remember that significant. I wasn't sure if it was meant to be a twist. I kind of was thinking like, oh, is this supposed to be a twist again? Like that she's a girl? Like, I mean, just given like by the virtue of like years and years and years of just like more progressive attitudes to like LGBTQ plus
yeah,
people, like I'm like calling her out and being like, she's actually a she. It does feel like kind of regressive.
yeah, I was just
Yeah.
like, what are labels, bro?
Yeah. Exactly. Like
But
that shouldn't mean much. Yeah.
I don't know. I just saw her, and in my mind, I was like, yeah, it's a young girl.
Yeah.
Like I didn't,
And the actor's a girl too. Yeah. So yeah.
So I wasn't sitting there going like, "What? It's not a boy."
No.
It didn't hit the same, and maybe it did when I was younger, but
It might have in 2000 maybe. I'm not sure. But what did you
yeah,
think? So what did you think of the John's character, the bounty hunter guy who had like a morphine addiction that he put into his tear duct?
I think Matthew McConaughey owes that man residuals.
Isn't that actor in Fast and Furious also a few times?
Yeah, he's in
Yeah.
the one that Vin Diesel isn't in. We realized it when we
Oh,
were watching it.
that's so funny.
He's in Fast and Furious or Too Fast Too Furious. Sorry, I to all my Furious heads, I know the
Wow.
names of the movies.
Wow.
Too Fast, Too Furious. He is like the big bad that like Eva Mendes is like working for, and he has some interesting scenes. I also remember him from the movie Paparazzi. I don't know
Don't
if
know
you
it.
saw that. It wasn't that good. It was I think it was like Mel Gibson's like the movie he did right after Passion of the Christ,
Hmm.
and it was okay. But Cole Hauser was like everywhere back then. You
Yeah.
know, he was a very ubiquitous actor, and it's very clear to see why he doesn't have a career anymore. Like Matthew McConaughey is eating that man's lunch. Like he is taking all the jobs.
Yeah. For that specific archetype. Yeah.
It like every time he talks, I'm just like, was McConaughey busy? Like, I guess he wasn't like a thing yet. Like, you know, like he was like
True.
acting, obviously, but like he wasn't. He took over the mantle of whatever archetype those two guys inhabit.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
to answer your question, as far as the character, I liked him. I think that he's like I would have liked if he'd have like dialed it back like 10% maybe in
When he
terms
got
of
evil.
like yeah, in terms of how evil he got like so fast. And I'm just like, buddy, like
Like chill
there's
out a
like
bit.
there's like 10 of you here. Like people talk. Like you can't be a dick the whole time. Just chill, you know? Like
Yeah.
I'm not a stranger to like partaking in like a little weed here and there. I get it. Like you like your drugs. That being said, look at the situation you're in and just take a beat.
Yeah, right. Yeah, his heel turn was hard. Although I will say, like, I feel like the movie does want us to think he's kind of like moralistic and like the good guy in the beginning. And I never really felt that. Like I always felt
At
he
all.
was kind of he was an asshole. I mean, and maybe that's hindsight because we know like Vin Diesel is the star. We know like he's gonna be the good guy, even though they're trying to like play it off that he's like the scary murderer guy. Like I'm just like, no, like Cole Hauser's an asshole, like throughout the whole thing.
Yeah, and I feel like if you just look at it objectively, like the more you learn about Vin Diesel's character, Riddick, obviously the more sympathetic you get, but like he's not really doing anything
Mm.
for like that first act. He's just kind of chilling there, and then like Johns just comes in as a dick to him,
Yeah.
you know, and it's like I don't know, man, like just he's just watch him.
Yeah. Just just watch him. Yeah.
I guess it comes down to like you only have Johns' word to take for it about
Yeah.
like what a threat he is and stuff like that. But it's just like the movie has not showed me like anything close to like the way you're like that would justify why you're being like that to him.
No.
And I'm such a like anti carceral state like mindset now that like you can't just as a movie go that guy's a prisoner. That's all you need to know.
Right.
Like
No, I felt the same
I
way.
need
Yeah.
context.
Yeah. I was like way more like almost my mindset's like more distrustful of this like quote unquote lawman, you know?
100%. I'm just like
Yeah.
one guy's cuffed, one guy's got guns. Like
Yeah.
that's a hostage situation in most places.
And
Like
the
I don't
cuff
know what to tell you.
and the cuff guy is way cooler. Like he's so cool. Like that scene that scene when he like goes in like he's like in the distance like on the
Oh
chair
my
under the
God.
umbrella. That was
It's
so fun.
such a yeah, he's just whimsical. He's
Yeah.
so fun. Oh my God. What do you think about the really the main piece of backstory we get about him is that he was just like in like a deep dark dungeon somewhere
Hmm.
and he just like got like elective eye surgery
Yeah.
to see better down there.
That I 100% forgot about. Like I thought it was some sort of thing with like his race. Like I thought it was something like, oh, he's because in later movies we find out he's a Furian or something. And like I thought that was like some sort of trait, but that's definitely not it. Like he's like, yeah, it was some sort of doctor because you can't see. It's so dark here all of a sudden. You gotta know who's jumping you or something. Like what? Is that explanation carried through? I don't know. Like that's wild.
It's just so funny to me like to think about like he just like goes down there with his like HMO and he's like, yeah, cool, I'm covered.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's only $20 out of pocket. Like
Yeah.
recovery time is like
Copay.
negligible.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
get these cool complimentary welding goggles.
The goggles. The goggles come free.
I
Uh,
mean, it's a sci-fi future. The healthcare could be like as good as we want it to be.
That's true.
Uh,
The contacts that he wore for that,
yeah,
apparently they were like prototypes that they hadn't tested before, and the first day of shooting, they end up having to fly an optometrist from 3 hours away because they were shooting like in the middle of Australia in like a desert area,
yeah.
and they couldn't get the contacts off him, and he actually later was taken to the hospital to make sure his eyes were actually okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
Not worth it. I mean,
yeah,
I feel like we've heard like horror stories about
we've heard
like
worse.
makeup like going wrong with it, especially like contacts and stuff. Like
Yeah.
if you're doing like creature effects and stuff like that that require contacts, like I feel like you should be like testing that shit so much before you put it
Oh.
anywhere near like a human
Well, like
eye.
it's crazy to think like even back then, like how much of a Wild West it was. Like this is a completely side story, but in the one of the original Star Trek pilots from the 60s, there's these characters that have these like kind of like silvery eyes because they gain powers, and it's like I've always thought like it kind of looks like tinfoil. It's tinfoil. It's 100%. They just put tinfoil in their eyes.
That's not okay.
No, it's not okay at all.
How bad do you need this acting gig, bro?
Yeah, right.
Like,
Yeah,
I just and I don't even do contacts anymore. I played with them in like high school and some of my 20s, and it's nothing against contact lenses themselves. Like in general, they're fine, but like I'm such a lazy guy that like I'll fall asleep with them on. I'll take
yeah.
forever to take them out, and then like by the time you get them out, it's just like ravaging your eyes. It sucks, and so like I have a big aversion to like prototype eye makeup.
One time, Khalid, you when you were crashing at my place, you put your contacts in a pair of spoons and just left them on the counter. And Nicole, wife of the podcast, cleaning up as she decided to do when she came home from work, just washed the spoons. You know, and you were like, "Where's my contacts?"
There's just two spoons
Yeah,
and a
you remember
little bit
that?
of like solution
You remember
on
that? Yeah,
each one, and then
yeah.
the lenses. I was so mad at her.
You
In
were pissed. Yeah.
retrospect, it's like, yeah, what does it look like?
What
You
did you
put them on
expect?
the kitchen counter. Like, honestly, I don't think I've ever formally apologized for blowing up on you, Nikki. But whenever you get around to listening to this, I am so sorry. You were very, very reasonable in that situation. You did what most people would do.
I didn't even think you blew up that much. You were just like, "What? Why would you wash these?" Like it was a weird thing.
Yeah, it's like talking to her like she's nuts.
Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah,
that's why I don't mess with contacts anymore.
yeah. Contact lenses. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any other like favorite moments before we get into the monster stuff?
Um, favorite moments. I think I obviously I love the part when Johns is like trying to like team up with Riddick.
Yeah, that's right.
really just like the worst instincts of anybody I've ever seen. Of like, you have spent the better part of this movie just like degrading this man. You have been so unnecessarily cruel, and now you want to team up with him to betray another person and get them killed, and you think Riddick's on board. Like, I just I don't care what happens right up until that scene that even kind of makes sense for that. Like, that's just, you are bad at strategy, my
Yeah.
friend.
It's
Like
so funny.
and it's just so satisfying when Riddick like is like, no, I'm just gonna do that to you, and he does, and
Yeah.
it doesn't even seem like even close to a fair fight. Like, he kind of like gets some shots off, but like it feels like Riddick's really just like playing with his food. You know, it was
Yeah.
a very satisfying moment.
That was such a great little fight scene. Like I was questioning a little bit. It's like how do they have time for like this fight scene like when lights are going down or whatever. But it was really great. Like I was satisfying when he gets his head chomped.
Yeah,
John's.
and it was one of those things where like Johns
Yeah.
had to go.
He had to
Like, that
go.
man was not gonna like get everybody out of there alive. Like, he
Yeah.
was a liability. So I think they dispatched him in like a really satisfying way.
That was a sequence too that made me really kind of real like sort of appreciate the coloring of the movie because a lot of it's sepia and it's not the best looking, but like there are other parts like when it's darker, like when it's the green hue that fight scene looked really cool, I thought.
Yeah, I would agree
Yeah.
with that. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. They, yeah, they do a lot with filters in this that like, if again, it feels very early
It does.
2000s sci-fi of
Yeah.
like just like kind of like washed out and desaturated, and it's all about like trying to like make you feel like you're in a different world, which fair, but like
Hmm.
it's dated. It's a dated look for sure.
It is, yeah. It's definitely a time capsule there.
Yeah.
I love the whole sequence where they're running through like that valley and Vin or Riddick is just like carrying the four power cells like himself. And it's just like such a cool like action hero sequence. And then like when he like single-handedly kills the one Bioraptor, like that was such a great moment. Like he just like holding it. He also like that whole like thing where like, oh, that's the blind spot or whatever. That was so cool. And he like stabs it multiple times.
That's the thing, is like it's kind of a bummer to like find out that he's not human after all
Yeah.
of that, you know,
Yeah.
like,
Because it's just like strength of like determination and all that. It's just
yeah,
yeah.
it's very like, look what you can do when you just don't think about limitations, you
Right.
know.
It
And
was so
now
cool.
they kind of retroactively fuck that, and it's like, look what you can do when you're like a Kryptonian. Like,
Yeah. I don't know if like I don't know if they're saying necessarily he's not human or just like it's a race of humans on this colony or something. I don't know. I'll have to rewatch the other ones. I loved his line where after he kills the Bioraptor thing, he's like, he did not know who he was fucking with. Apparently Vin did not like that line in the moment, but when they went to the premiere, like the audience cheered and he was like, okay, that was cool.
again, like, you gotta
Yeah.
trust the director sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, it's supposed to be an experience, you know? Like, I know
Yep.
he's probably like really embroiled in the character and like committed to like conveying a certain type of character, but like at the end of the day, you're watching a movie, man.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta have fun with it.
You gotta.
Real quick before we do the monsters here, there's interesting kind of like literary connections that this movie has. So Robert A. Heinlein, famous sci-fi author, wrote this novel Tunnel in the Sky, and the characters in that are marooned on a planet where they're attacked by creatures that are only a threat on a 1 year basis. Also, that book includes a girl, Jacqueline, posing as a boy named Jack. And then another book, this is a Asimov book called Nightfall. Has a planet with many suns having a perpetual day, and then some of the suns set, and the remaining suns are eclipsed by a moon, giving it long night and ages, leading to like strange phenomena due to the darkness. So the writers, when they were kind of putting this together, and the director had like taught like drew specifically from those like kind of classic sci-fi novels. So I think I just wanted to acknowledge the classic sci-fi literary references kind of in this movie.
Yeah, I mean, I love the idea of like this like permanent night that they
It's
get
really
like
cool.
embroiled in. It's because like it really does just do a nice job of like slicing the movie in half, you know? And it's
Yeah,
like stranded on a desert planet and just the dangers that come with that, to boom, it's night and there's a bunch of nocturnal fucking monsters that are ready to rip you apart.
exactly. Yeah, it's very good. Yeah, it's a very cool concept and and totally works. So shall we monster?
Let's do it.
Let's monster. All right. So, um, here we go. Where are we? Uh, so they're on the desert planet. It's called M6117, and due to its galactic position in the system with three large stars, the planet exists in a state of perpetual bright daylight, except for when its triple suns align in a total eclipse, which is not stated in the movie, but is stated in other areas, can last anywhere from months to decades. The creatures that we actually see a couple different creatures. We see the bats that kind of swarm, and then we also see the bioluminescent worms at the one point in the cave. And then the main antagonist creatures are like the larger bats. I think the implication is their life cycle there. But the Bioraptors exist underground until these eclipse periods when they emerge and essentially wipe out any other existing life. They're eyeless with large like anchor-shaped heads, kind of like hammerheads, razor-sharp teeth, and forked tails. The Bioraptors themselves were designed by the concept artist Patrick Tatopoulos, which he's Greek. And if you remember, he also did the VFX supervision for the 90s Godzilla movie, and Matthew Broderick's character was named after him.
I did not remember
Yeah,
that. I don't
fun
remember
fact.
a lot of that movie.
That was the whole joke of that movie that no one could pronounce his last name.
All
Yeah.
right,
Yeah.
that makes sense. It's a hard name to pronounce.
Yeah. So Tatopoulos. Anyway, he worked here. He realized he he's the one who created the designs for it. Then the creatures were realized as practical effects by John Cox's Creature Workshop, and there was significant number of CGI shots as well from the company Double Negative, which is now DNEG, which we've talked about in the past.
Hmm.
And then there was also miniatures, which were used a lot in it for a lot of the effects. But the creatures themselves went through several different iterations. They kind of were they came together from brainstorming between the director and Topoulos. Um, Topoulos said in this interview with the magazine Cinefex, which I found, he said, quote, "My first attempt at the Predator was very different from the final design. It looked a bit like a pterodactyl. We developed it from there in about 2 months' time. We had the luxury of time, and by the time David had to go to Australia for location shooting, we had nailed something that everybody seemed to be pleased with. So the final result then was this kind of sinuous beast with shark-like skin, long arms, and legs that acted as wings. From the wrists, the creature could eject blade-like tentacles, and the crescent-shaped skull could be used as a lethal cutting weapon, whereas twin projections on the sides house sensory organs." Um, so then with the design, John Cox's Creature Shop, they created two full-sized animatronics with foam latex and fiberglass. And they kind of operated it. It was like kind of like mechanical operations to create those like full size ones. And one of the benefits was like since since a lot of the shooting was so dark, they didn't have to worry about digitally cleaning up the wiring or the controls. They just like threw like black velvet over like the wires and it just kind of blended into the darkness. So I
Oh,
thought that was kind of interesting. They also had stunt puppets and various like lightweight practical pieces for close-ups like arms, heads, and talons and stuff. John Cox, so the guy who was building the physical thing, I found an interview with him, which I'll link in the show notes. So he says that the scene that they, as VFX people, enjoyed the most was the scene I was talking about where they're running through the caverns or whatever. And if you remember, like how like the Bioraptor creatures were like crashing into each other and like cannibalizing each other and stuff, and like the
yeah.
blood would fall, the blue blood. So he said like that was basically just like the VFX guys just got to hang out like on the top of the cliffs and just like toss like dummy creatures at each other and just dump buckets of like blue blood on the cast as they're running. It's just like he said, there's a bunch of us on top of the cliffs, and they had like nine full-size lightweight bodies and then buckets of blood and guts to just like throw at various times, which sounds like a blast, like just
That
throwing
does
these
sound
creatures.
super fun. Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty cool. Yeah. And then the other kind of really cool piece is they actually made pieces of the creature that could blister when light was shined across it. And they had like this little switch that they could do to make that like blistering effect. So like when the actual like light was shined at the creature, like there's like a practical thing happening on the skin too, which is kind of cool.
Wow, I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like like a lot more went into like these creature designs than like a lot of the stuff that we see. Like, I mean,
Mhm.
making it be able to blister on command alone is like that a lot of thought went into that.
Oh, totally. Yeah, they had to. It sounds like they had like a button that could speed it up or slow it down depending on what the shot needed. So it's really cool. What do you think about the creatures overall?
Um, I'll be honest, they were always my favorite when they were practical.
Yeah, same.
Like especially like when it was like very much like using the like cover of darkness to like hide any artifice, and it's just like you can really lose yourself in believing that like they're like creatures coming after them. Anytime it was like a flock of them flying around, I felt like I was watching a sci-fi channel movie, you know?
Yeah, the CGI is dated.
Yeah, and it strains credulity. And so like once you get towards like the third act and it's like a lot of that is happening, it's hard to like put back the element of disbelief whenever they're animatronic again, you know?
Totally.
So it was like a push-pull thing of like I liked it when they were very much closer to like movie monsters and like lurking and like you'd be hiding somewhere and then all of a sudden they're there with you.
Mhm.
That all that like really worked for me. And then like once they become like just like I don't know, a murder of bioraptors. I don't know what the grouping is called,
A murder's
but
fine.
yeah, when they're flocking together, it's just it looks so just kind of cheesy.
Yeah, I would agree with you on that too. I think that another part where they were really cool was when Radha Mitchell's character Carolyn goes under in the hole for the first time,
Hmm.
and you kind of just only see like one crawling on the wall. And I know that was like a CGI part, but I thought that looked really cool, just like kind of in the darkness, like crawling on the walls behind her and stuff. That was really interesting. I liked when they played with the light and the dark the most. I think that was when there were some of the most interesting, like the part when the British guy like blows the fire and they're all right there. Like that was
Yeah.
a really cool scene. Like I think like that kind of stuff when it's just like they're just off camera or just out of sight and you can only see like little bits of them. Like I really enjoyed a lot of that. But yeah, like when they're kind of like all hoarding or like kind of like swarming, I feel like that's sort of when you lose a little bit of the terror and kind of scariness of it.
Yeah, I feel like just don't make them flying, which I feel like I
Yeah,
guess you had to so that they could like cover as much ground as they do.
sure.
But yeah, I don't know. It just the flight just kind of like undermines a lot of like what makes them scary to me, or at least seeing them in flight. I don't want to say that necessarily the ability to fly, but you can tell that like they're trying so hard to kind of like make like their xenomorph, and it
Yep.
doesn't come together, unfortunately.
It feels very xenomorph coded for sure. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. But that being said, I still really enjoyed it. I think they did a really good job, like especially with the practical parts of it. Like they
totally.
were cool. Like the fight scene with like the creature and Vin Diesel looked really good.
Yeah.
That ruled. Very cool.
Yeah, very
Um,
well directed film.
yeah, I liked it quite a bit. Forgot to give a shout out. We're talking about characters a bunch. Forgot to give a shout out to the I think her name in the movie was Raza, and she dies early on, and she's the British girl who gets killed by the bats.
Like
And
it's ripped in half.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's
gnarly.
Claudia Black, who was one of the leads in the Farscape show.
I've never seen the Farscape show.
Good show, good show, classic '90s sci-fi, and so she's not like a huge star, but she's kind of a. If you're a fan of '90s space opera stuff, you're a fan of Claudia Black, I'm sure.
I'll take your word for it, brother.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, good stuff, right?
Yeah, real good stuff.
Yeah. Speaking of good stuff, Khalid.
Sure.
Yeah. Would you fight with or would you flirt with the Bioraptors?
Thanks for asking, Joe. For those of you who may be checking out this episode for the first time in our series of episodes, Fight or Flirt is a segment that I do for fun. Just I ask the question, would I fight or would I flirt with the monster in question if I was in that scenario? Um, Again, I like I've already established that like I would not immediately write off Riddick just because the Dick Marshall Johns is like he's a prisoner, so he's bad. You know what I mean? Like I already would be like more sympathetic to him, and the more I saw of like what he does, like I would just be won over by him. So like I'd be like that kid. Like I'd be like, yeah, I'm freaking pro team this guy, and I would just do whatever the hell he says. And so if he's fighting him, I'm fighting him. You know what I mean? I feel like anybody that like fully submits themselves to the Church of Riddick is like pretty set. You know what I mean? Like it's really just like the doubters or people who don't like fully like understand like how awesome he is that like get the short end of the stick. So just like within this universe of like this is our Han Solo, I feel like you can't go wrong. Just like back to back with that dude, get like a blaster, start shooting those things out the sky because you're not gonna. They don't really seem open to a relationship, if we're being honest. You know what I mean? I can't even begin to figure out like what I could do for them and on an intimate level. So yeah, I'm fighting them with my boy Riddick. You know what I'm saying? Like it's gonna be like Khalid and Riddick just flying through space, fucking shit up.
Watch that.
Hell yeah, yeah. He just seems like he'd be fun to fight with. I'd probably die, but I'd die being cool. Fucking little goggles and shit.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Also, Dick Marshall Johns sounds like what his name could actually just be.
Also, it's like I don't know, like I don't want to live on that planet with those guys, with those creatures. Like that planet sucks. Like, hey, there's nothing there. It's just a desert. Like I would absolutely fight my way out of there if I could, or die fighting. Like it's as good as any other option on that planet.
Totally, yeah. No, I mean, it's really not a question. Like, I know I threw the segment in there. Like, you're not flirting with them. Like, there's no way. Like,
Yeah, there's
it's
no
just,
upside.
but I did want to hear your explanation for fighting.
Yeah, no, I, you team me up with somebody as badass as Riddick, like it's a no-brainer.
Totally, totally,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
All right, all right. Feel it. Shall we move on to our final segment?
Let's do it.
Our final segment of Frankenstein's podcast is our What the Fandom segment, in which we share one to two, or in sometimes Khalid's case, three things that we are just into in the moment. May or may not have anything to do with Pitch Black or even monsters at all. That being said, Khalid, what the fandom with you this week?
Thanks for asking, Joe. I kind of lightly spoiled it for you before we were recording, but I feel compelled to tell everybody at all times about this awesome movie that I just saw this weekend. It is Boots Riley's I Love Boosters. This is his second feature film after Sorry to Bother You and his television series I'm a Virgo. So he is now a pretty consistent working director in Hollywood, and I'm very grateful for his presence in that landscape because the man is just consistently like the one thing you can't say about Boots Riley is that like he is not trying. Like his movies are the byproduct of effort, and not just effort, but like a clarity of vision that you don't always necessarily get with like some directors. And I'm a fan of his vision, you know, outside of like his politics, he's like a self-proclaimed communist and he has like very left leaning ideals, sure, but um I think what I love about it is that he doesn't just turn his movies into like a homework lesson on like praxis. Like it's very much like, yes, I'm going to put my opinions into these movies, but I'm not going to forget that I'm making a movie. Like I watch movies to have fun and I want you to have fun. It's very much communicated in the way he does things. Everything from the casts that he usually puts in these films to the wardrobe to the set design to the music. Shout out Toon Yards who did the music for this. It feels like you're watching a live action cartoon for the whole thing, and in no small part because of the music, you know? And it just really speaks to like the people that he chooses to surround himself with to tell these stories. And I was telling you before we recorded that like it feels like a very old Hollywood style director in that sense, you know? Like everybody is contributing to this vision and they're bringing it alive in like such vivid, like you feel like you could touch it. It feels so real even though it's also cartoonish and outlandish. And I'm really really amazed by how like how he's able to get these movies made. You know what I mean? Like I can't imagine that there's like a big market for it, but it's so nice to know that like movies like this in the big year of 2026 are still getting made. And I had a delightful time. It was a screening full of people. We were all dying laughing at some amazing parts that I hope that you'll eventually get to watch yourself because I can't wait for your text thread when you tell me all the crazy stuff that you come across in that movie. But as much as I want you, Joe, to watch it, I also want you, the listeners, to just go out and support this movie that, you know, it's it's not going to do backrooms numbers. It's not going to do obsession numbers, and it doesn't necessarily have to. It just, I think that Boots Riley's social media campaigning for this movie is really just about like an earnest desire for like people who would enjoy this movie should go see it. And if you listen to our podcast, you're probably open to a lot of crazy visionary directors, and you should give this a shot too and see if it's your bag, if it's your cup of tea. So that'll be my one recommendation, Joe. With that being said, what the fandom with you?
Thanks for asking, Khalid. Good rec. I'm excited to see that one.
Yeah.
Mine, I will just shout out a book I recently finished. I just finished this book called The Ministry of Time from Kayleigh Bradley. Um, it's 2024, so it's a relatively new book. It's sort of like a sci-fi romance spy thriller. Essentially, it follows this the main character, the narrator is like a civil servant in the British government in a ministry that recruits, like they call them, quote, expats from history. They discovered like a time travel machine, and so they basically take people who are about to die throughout history and then pull them into the present day and like start to train them. And so the main character is like a bridge, meaning she's training somebody to kind of adjust from history to modern day London, essentially. And the character that she's working with is Graham Gore, who was a Victorian polar explorer in the sort of the kind of like Arctic expeditions that happened a long time ago.
Yeah.
And he's actually it's a real person who had died in that mission and kind of went missing. And so they kind of play, it's like it plays with history in a historical fiction context and adds that kind of sci-fi twist to it. Ultimately, the main character kind of starts like falling in love with him, and there's some like conspiracy elements. The main character is like half Cambodian, and the author is also half Cambodian, and so there's an element where like this Victorian man is kind of like not used to people who aren't all white around him, and so like there's some racial elements that are really interesting to play around with. They talk about colonialism a lot and just like the mentalities that somebody in history might have had versus what like people have today, or even just like the concept of like colonizing, like time travel in general is kind of brought up, and that was really interesting. So it's a very fascinating book. It The tone is interesting because for a long time it's romance, and the thriller elements don't come in till like later on. So it's like depending on what genre you like or that you're looking for into it, it might not entirely satisfy you because I don't think it's entirely one thing. But if you're interested in just kind of a blending of a lot of different stuff, it's a really cool like kind of experimental book that I thought was very fun. So I'd recommend that one, The Ministry of Time by Kayleigh Bradley. I also want to give a quick shout out to the book I'm reading now, which is Ring, the 1991 Japanese horror book by Koji Suzuki that inspired the film The Ring and all that, by the American version, and there's a Japanese one. So we all know the movies and stuff, but it's based on a trilogy of books. And I'm reading the original book right now, just because Koji Suzuki recently passed away. Like very recently, I think within the last like 2 months or so. So I just thought it'd be a good opportunity to like check out the original book. Not sure I would like recommend the book like outright. There are some pretty like concerning, I think, sexual politics in like early 90s, late 80s Japan that are probably on display there. But that being said, there are some like really fascinating, like it's an investigative horror book, which I've talked so many times about how much I love. So like the world building and some of the scares that they describe, or just like the investigation elements. So there's a lot of really great creative stuff there. But there's just some stuff that I think like it sounds like even the author himself grew as he wrote the series and grew and stuff. But like some like I'm like, huh, that was a questionable paragraph there, you know? So there's a few things there. But it's fascinating to look at in terms of like if you're interested in like horror history, or like this guy in general who was kind of, I think he's often been called like the Stephen King of Japan, like kind of his like early works here. So it's a fascinating thing to read, even if there's some problematic elements to recognize for sure. So Koji Suzuki's The Ring is my other shout out here, but those are my two.
Okay, so one recommend wholehearted,
Yeah.
and then one recommend with caveats.
With caveats, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
That's read at your discretion.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, yeah, those both sound really good and interesting. Questionable sexual politics aside, which is, I just don't know if I've heard that phrase ever. But no, yeah. You guys got a lot to choose from our recommendations. Thank you, Joe, for super fun discussion. Pitch Black, that shit rules. I think we definitely should revisit the Riddick movies and maybe do another episode on the sequels. And thank you all at home and wherever you listen to our podcast for listening as well. Until next time, creep it easy. Frankenstein's podcast is hosted by Joe Praska and me, Khalid Hussein, with music from Jim Hall and original artwork from Jim Tandberg. A reminder that we do have a Patreon if you are interested and able to support our show. We are a fully independent podcast maintained as a labor of love, so anything helps. You can become a Patreon at the $1 or $3 level, or you can become a producer at the $7 level. Becoming a patron gives you access to bonus content like Frankenbits, where we discuss a range of topics often outside the realm of monsters. Thank you to our current Patreon producers, Luke Johnson, Andy Groth, Jay Cole, and Joe Michaud. And thank you to each and every one of you listening.